It's great to be here to talk with you, Ms. Kravitz. So, I've scaled a number of businesses. You can see the numbers here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but really what had a major impact on changing my trajectory in my career was closing large sales. So I closed two $20 million sales in my career, and there's some common themes about those sales that I want to share with you. I have this in my office. It's a custom sculpture that was given to me in a castle in Barcelona in front of 5,000 people when I was recognized for being Global Account Manager of the Year. That was a long time ago, but I have to tell you, as a small town in Jersey, it was quite an honor. Okay, so let's talk about what am I talking about in terms of large opportunities. So we're talking about, it's all relative. Like if your average sales price is say 15K, then a large opportunity might be 750K, right? Some of these concepts still apply. In most cases, we're talking about opportunities that are $1 million and up, have half a dozen to a dozen stakeholders, sometimes 20 stakeholders, and can take 6 to 18 months in length. Okay, so first, it's important for everyone, I think, knows that our brains are capable of changing and adapting the way we think. 85% of our brain is neuroplasticity. We can change every single day how we think. So the first thing we have to do is we have to actually think big. If everyone around you is selling like 120K deals or 80K deals, it doesn't mean that you don't have the ability to sell an $800,000 opportunity or a $5 million opportunity. And the reason is, the nice thing about being in the technology industry is most of us are selling software, maybe it's used software as a service or whatever, but that's intellectual property that can be basically applied to solve a business problem. So it's really about focusing on how can this technology actually help my customer be more competitive, make more money, whatever the benefits might be. And if you can create those linkages in the minds of your customers, you can create a model that cost justifies anything, right? I mean, and I think a lot of us we all come from a consumer background, from the B2C world, but a lot of us get kind of spooked about the cost of something, right? Like, why would someone pay $2 million for this, or why would someone pay $20 million for that? The answer is, if it makes business sense, they'll do it. So, use that creativity. The next is understanding the who's. By the way, I love the talk on psychology. I'm a driving expressive, and I learned a long time ago as a seller that I have to adapt. If I meet you and I assess you as an amiable, I'm going to back it down. I'm also a New York Metro guy, so I have to add that too. So, who is involved in the opportunity? What is their type? What's their power level? What are they trying to accomplish, right? And I'm going to actually skip ahead and then come back. I'm going to show you something. Okay, so this is actually a stakeholder analysis. Actually, let me go back here. Okay, so many of us are focused on selling to solve operational pains. What do we mean by that, right? Like, operational benefits are basically time savings, increased productivity, technology cost savings, it's faster, it's better, etc., right? However, there's a whole series of benefits that are above. This is typically in a company, the power line is typically a director level, so below this is manager or a staff member. There's a whole series of benefits that are above that, which involve making the company more competitive, increasing shareholder value, increasing, making the employees' morale higher, etc. So there's a whole series of benefits that these people care about. So when we look at it, this is a chart that basically shows the power line. So if you're selling at a feature capability level, you're selling down here, you're selling these operational pains, companies aren't going to spend a large sum of money to solve those problems unless they are linked with these other benefits, right? So if you're providing some of these benefits and you can actually link them to large-scale financial benefits or strategic benefits, then the company will actually invest in that. So the way you find that, after you find out who's involved, the way you find out is the why. The why is really important. So has anyone heard the terms evaluator, right? Recommender, decision maker, signer, approver, right? So that was created as power-based selling years ago. And what this chart basically shows here is mapping those stakeholders out, right? So basically you can see down here the different roles that they have. So if you want to sell a large opportunity, you can't sell that to one or two people. You have to sell that to, depending on the organization, it could be 10, 12, 20 people. And how do you really accomplish that? You can't accomplish that by clinging to one person or two people. You have to actually meet these different players. And it takes a team to win those deals. So if you have like, how many here have actually got their CFO involved in a sales opportunity? Couple hands, great, glad to see that. So many of us are in smaller companies, and what's one of the key objections that keeps us from getting a deal if you're in a smaller company? What do you think it is?
Budget.
Budget? Others?
Time allocation.
Yes. And also credibility, right? So when you're going against larger competitors, you're not viewed as credible because you're smaller to the bigger, mid-market and enterprise customers. CFOs in your company the CFO in your company can actually help establish credibility with the CFO of the company you're selling to. So I have a diagram here. So as the seller, you have this whole team of people that you can leverage, your CEO, your CTO, and including your CFO, as I just explained, partners, and your team. And essentially what you have to do is focus like the quarterback or the CEO of a virtual organization. Your buyer's here, your buyer's being influenced by other members of the buying committee in many cases, by competitors, by the management. Their management's being influenced by all these other forces. And you're here. So if you're trying to work and win a large opportunity with just a couple people on your team, and maybe a couple people here, you're not going to be that successful compared to the seller who basically has mapped this power base aligned with your company's power base. So the only way to actually understand these whys is to actually have individual meetings with those people. Why can anyone guess why that's more effective than like just the group meetings?
They are more transparent.
Yes, 100%. Spot on. Yeah, they're more transparent. People open up more. And when you have those meetings, you should not bring a group of people with you. You should have that meeting one-on-one, maybe if it's super technical, your SC and yourself. And you want to really understand from their perspective, what do they have to gain from this? Why are they supportive of this project? Not necessarily buying from you, but just a project in general. There's all this like intimate information you can gather, and that's critical to mapping out your plan. We just talked about this actually, engaging your colleagues. So you're acting as the CEO. And now, what you want to do is you want to create an opportunity strategy. You want to have a plan for managing the opportunity. So this is just, I know this by the way, it's like could be a 2-day course, trying to wrap it into 15 minutes. But so you have the people's names, right? You have their titles. And depending on where you assess their power is in the organization for this decision, what their preference is toward you, what part they're playing, as shown down here. This is actually the disc profile that was mentioned earlier. Depending on that will determine what you need to do. Like Smith, for example, is very powerful, really loves what you're selling, and is basically a power sponsor and a co-decision maker, right? See, there's 3 decision makers. So what you want to do in your sales strategy is support that, support Smith, support that person. Now you have someone, Wilson, who basically has no power, hates your solution, is the technical evaluator, right? So the right thing to do is ignore them. I mean, you might not fully ignore them and give them a little love, but you're not going to spend a lot of time there. This is a waste of time, actually. In this case, Alan has just a little bit less power and really likes what you're doing, is a recommender. That's going to be someone you're coaching to be an internal seller for you. Here's a person that's super powerful, kind of leaning pretty heavily toward you, and you're going to try to get them involved in as many of the meetings as possible, right? By the way, this is intentionally blank because when you start a new opportunity like this, you don't know what you don't know. Typically, like there's some person that reached out and you have like an initial contact. So when you start mapping something out, you basically have blind spots. And we refer to them as blind spots. So like literally if I was creating this today for a new opportunity, you would see the phrase blind spot all over here because I don't know what that is, right? But every work day when you start your job, you kind of look at your plan and you say, okay, where are my blind spots? Okay, let's say I didn't know what Millen's situation was. They're all blind spots. Well, my to-do list includes getting to Millen and figuring out what Millen is all about. Now, I may know that Millen's very powerful because Millen is probably the CFO because of the financial pain, right? Maybe the CEO. But I may not know this, right? I may not know that they have a preference for my competitor. So in this case, basically play after finding out would be to get that person outvoted. And here with Turner's got a lot of power, is kind of in the middle, slightly leaning away. That's someone I need to focus on to change. So the point here is when you're working a large opportunity, you need to have a strategy and an action plan. And you need to think about those dimensions, right? Like how much power do they have? What type of pain do they have? Why do you think it's important to understand the type of pain when you're communicating with that person? Anyone?
What does cultural pain mean?
Good question. Sorry. Picture's worth 1,000 words.
You need to know to understand their priorities and their urgencies.
So, I'll give you an example. Attrition, right? Morale. I have a finance and accounting department, and I keep losing people because our system's so slow and so bad. These people are just going crazy trying to close the end of the quarter books. They're literally like just quitting. That's cultural pain. I bought a new CRM system. No one's using it.
Yeah.
I've been a five-time CRO. I spent $250,000 on Clary in 2022. I personally fell in love with Clary. I married it if it's possible, but I couldn't get my reps to use it. So I'm on town halls giving demos of Clary on my mobile phone. Hey, if an old guy can use it, you guys can too. So it's basically the pain that these benefits address, boosting morale, et cetera. Good question. So getting back to the original question, why do you think it's important for sellers to understand the type of pain they're having?
Drive the conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Getting back to tailoring, I love your talk on as a driving expressive. You not only need to adapt to their personality style when you're selling to them, you need to actually understand what they care about. Here's a huge issue at any deal size, right? Huge issue. We train reps to communicate these features and these benefits. And then they get to someone senior, and they communicate at this level, and it's going like this, because they don't care. You have to be able to adjust your benefit statements and your messaging to fit the level of person and their responsibility that they carry. And vice versa. If you have some really awesome high-level strategic benefit statement or messaging, and you're trying to communicate it to the evaluator, boom, you're going to lose the sale.
Yeah, and another classic, not talking to each other is, I'm talking about all the benefits of this platform. The person is concerned about the job security.
That's right.
The political benefit.
That's it. That's exactly right. So this knowledge can actually also apply in marketing for persona-based message platforms. So you map out, like I have a client right now I'm working with, and we mapped out there's 3 key personas for them, and his reps were doing this, they were just communicating this, and so I helped him look at this and then understand it. So it applies, this applies to all deals. Let me just go forward here, so I want to be sensitive to time. So how am I doing on time?
A minute.
Okay, great. So key takeaways. Think big, unleash that awesome creativity you all have. Be that virtual CEO, team leader. You are empowered. The empowerment of a rep in a tech company is so amazing. Seize that power, right? Ask your CEO to participate. Ask your CFO to participate. Understand what's really going on in the customer mind. Have a well-executed opportunity strategy and plan, and engage all the resources you can to win. Thank you.